Yeah, I hear a lot of your '70s influences in there.
Yeah.
There's a song also, since we're going to do track by track, we won't go through every song, but I've been listening to the record for a few days and a few songs jump out at me. There's one called On and Over and Over. And I'm listening to that and I'm going, man, this reminds me of something. What is this that is reminding me of something? And I'm thinking, is it a slow Danzig song? No. What is that? What is it? And it occurred to me, it reminds me of I Still Love You off the Kiss Creatures of the Night record.
Really? That's interesting, because normally I would agree with that because I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs ever. I Still Love You.
Wow.
But I kind of agree more with your first assessment of it's got this kind of Danzig, hellfire.
Yeah.
I call that shit hellfire blues. It's like it's just so dark and, so wobbly. And I'm trying to think in that the chorus is what's called a minor sixth progression, which is the same kind of chord pattern of a song like I Still Love You. So that makes sense in an ear pulling kind of way.
Yeah. I was just agonizing over that because I was like, man, this sounds brilliant. I thought maybe it's Danzig's Sistinas, that song off of I think it's on How the Gods Kill. And I was like, nah, I started reciting the lyrics in my head and I'm like, no, the lyrics don't fit. That's not it. And then
it's real, to be honest, it's kind of my take on I'm Gonna Crawl by Led Zeppelin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So if you listen to that, you'll hear like the similarity, like kind of there's like no distorted guitars on it at all.
Yeah.
But it's very heavy.
Yeah.
And that's Michael James Jackson, the guy that produced Hollywood Vampires. He always reinforced that I can play heavy. I can play heavy music. Yeah, right. That you can play heavy music without distorted guitar. As long as it's implied heavy, then it's heavy.
Yeah.
And that's a great example of that.
I like that song. That one stands out to me, and I really like Only Everything. Tell us a little bit about that one. That one's a rocker.
Yeah, it's Only Everything is the typical sell your soul at the crossroads, lyrically. And I'm so glad Todd, that's one thing about this record that I really dig is Todd was not scared to go places that I wouldn't expect him to go, talking about, the devil and the story of selling your soul, and which makes it really authentic to me because he didn't filter himself. So, but yeah, I mean, that one's a rocker. And the funny thing is it's not that blues based, but the story is really, the Delta blues.
Yeah. And speaking of to sort of follow on what your thread there with Todd going places lyrically, I think the song is called Better Than This. Is that the title?
Yeah.
That one's kind of almost sort of heavy, in sort of a philosophical sense,
It's very heavy. It's like he was talking about George Floyd. He's talking about, how people are treating each other in this country, not even on a global level. Like he went right there. And when I got that song back, I just thought to myself, this is fucking brave, that he pulls no punches about it anywhere on the record, just, how important it is to be human and humane. And, a lot of the things that are right in front of you, and you don't believe it because you don't want to believe it, or your friends won't think you're cool if you don't believe it, or, and he went there a few times. And like on the last song, when he says,
that's a deep
just
one,
the chorus, it's like, whoa, dude, where are we going? And then, but in the other song you were talking about, he questions God. And that's more up my alley. You know what I mean? Like that's more, I wave the everything's a false flag, man.
Yeah.
Love your kids, love your wife. Like I'm that guy. Like don't believe in bullshit. But he went there. and it made me very proud. And soon there'll be a nice Christian laden Sunbomb record.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, there's lyrical themes that I'm hearing on the record that are not what I would expect from Tracii Guns, but this is a Tracii Guns Todd Kerns collaboration. So
that's right.
I think what you're saying is Todd's lyrical input. It's very evident. It's not necessarily. There's some really heavy topical stuff in there. Do you not write lyrics at all?
I don't.
Have you ever tried?
The only recorded song that I'm aware of that I wrote all the lyrics to is Big House by LA Guns. So I probably have written some lyrics since then. I just I'm not attached to them. You know what I mean? Like, let's say like in Brides of Destruction, I'm sure I wrote a lot of lyrics because we were doing everything together, but I don't remember, you know what I mean? Like I don't own words like I own music. It's like music's really dear to me. And I like the vocalists to surprise me and excite me. And, I want to hear what they're going to do. And that's why, my job making these records is so cool, because the music's mine, but because I can support these vocalists in their ideas and what they want to get across.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the big joke with Sunbomb is that it's Guns and Moses. You know what I mean? We couldn't be ideologically more far apart as humans, but musically we're right on the money together.
Yeah. Todd's voice.
I'm sorry, Dave. Do you give any, talking about the lyrics, do you give any, or when you write a piece of music, or even just where it's just parts, like a riff and a bridge and a solo section, maybe the arrangement's not there yet, do you give them working titles?
I do.
Not just song 1, song 2, song 3, but do you call it, Red Cross on the ground, or whatever? You're just making up shit, or do you feel like
I just make up shit? Like,
okay, all right.
Does
that yeah, but you don't mean to influence your singer or your lyric writer when you send them the songs and they're looking at the working titles. Do you feel like they are or are not influenced by your stream of consciousness, fuzz and thump, and
I think that Michael is, because like I don't want to give any of the vocalists I work with, even Phil, like any ideas. You know what I mean? Okay. I just want them to have that clean slate, so I can be surprised, because I know these guys are the best, right? It's like I don't worry about what's coming back. I'm just excited to hear it. I'm excited to hear what they're going to do. But with Michael, I like to give him vibes. You know what I mean? Like, so like I recorded this piece of music and here's the vibe that I take away, because we connect vibe wise, you know what I mean? Right. And, those three guys are so different, Phil and Todd and Michael. It's like almost like a progression, where Phil's like Dirty Rod Stewart, who can also wail like Steven Tyler, where kind of Todd is got more of a Freddie Mercury, Paul Stanley kind of thing, around his Robert Plantism. And then Michael is just the flip side of King Diamond. You know what I mean? Just like, wow, dude, go, know? So I can't really tell these guys. It's like trying to tell a bass player what to do being a guitar player.
Yeah.
I just don't do it.
Right.
Because it ruins it for them.
Right. You want them to find their own creative lane and not be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, then it's not a collaboration, right? Like if I'm telling this vocalist what to do, that's not a collaboration.
Right. So I'm real excited for Todd on this record, because I think a lot of people are aware, but if they're not, Todd's got one of the best voices in rock right now. I mean, he is an incredible singer, and he makes his money as the bass player in Slash's band.
Yeah.
But as a backup vocalist, he's amazing. And if you've ever seen Slash play live, they usually let Todd sing lead vocals on a couple tracks. And this is a band whose full-time singer is Miles Kennedy. So they trust Todd that much to go out there and handle lead vocals. And he's a phenomenal.
Yeah, but he does the Guns N' Roses stuff. Todd.
Which
Todd's
is even
the one that sings the GNR, and it's like,
which is even crazier. Yeah, I mean, because they're trusting him with a song that everybody and their mother knows, and he just goes out there and nails it. So
every night.
He's an incredible singer, and I love that he's got this opportunity to shine as a lead vocalist in Blackbird Angels, because I think a lot of people, you know, especially if you're on stage with Slash, it's easy to sort of kind of be in the shadows, but he's an incredible talent, an amazing singer.
To me, Todd is that guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's the guy that hasn't got his due yet. And I really do think that he shines on this album. You know, I can't imagine any rock fan listening to Todd sing on this record and go, it's all right. You know, I just can't imagine that.
Yeah, he's an amazing singer, and it's kind of one of those voices where even a casual listener will love it. But if you actually are a vocalist and you listen to it, you're really going to appreciate it, because it's a powerful voice.
And he recorded all that shit himself. You know, I mean, this is the thing, is all these singers and musicians have really learned how to become pretty good at recording.
Yeah. So listen, when you stumble on a riff, when you're in one of your modes where you're feeling juicy, as Jason says, and
Juicy Jason, that's his new name, by the way.
Thanks.
I love it. Oh man, we're gonna make that stick.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.